1947, Jamshedji Framji Madan, the father of film production in India, established the first movie theatre in India by the name of Elphinstone Picture Palace, and that is when the large-scale screening of movies started as a tool for influencing the masses. However, to undermine its importance, it was renamed as Chaplin Cinema. Constructivism is a theory that propounds that knowledge and beliefs are constructed through interactions and experiences. Cinema in India has been a vehicle for a lot more than entertainment. It has nudged social reform, induced amity and patriotism, and at times provoked differences and assisted in the creation of new identities. Movies therefore impact our outlook towards the world. In short, cinema constructs our worldview. Let's explore how.
The general notions that we have of movies revolve around entertainment. The earliest films that we have seen, which were in black and white, were mainly without audio and was as a means of entertainment for the people. It also then emerged to, some kind of political assertion. So in India, let's say, movies earlier were for the purpose of entertainment, then they evolved as a sort of awareness campaign, and then there are movies that were made for spiritual purposes. So like in different parts of India, we see different movie trends. For let's say in southern India, you have movies about awareness and movies about rowdyism, or movies about capitalism. And in northern India, the movie industry is, totally based on nepotism. So the generalized movie industry has varied sects, and in India it's mostly capitalistic. It's on the belief that movies are made for commercial purposes to earn money. And then in different other countries, you can take an example of Hollywood, where they make movies for the general idea of, producing a good film that the audience will like. But then we can categorize movies into two sects. One is like independent films and one are commercial films. Now, when you talk about commercial films, they're solely based on entertainment and for producing money. And then when you have independent films, it's actually about the intrinsic nature of what a movie should be. So, as a person who comes from different places and has seen and experienced various things, I feel like movies nowadays are very concentrated on influencing the people and trying to set trends all over. Like, we see Marvel movies which have taken over the world by a storm, and then we see franchises of Marvel, and we see its byproducts in like shoes or like phone cases or like merchandise, any kind. And so nowadays, movie industry is not just limited to producing a film, but it's also the after effects, and it's like ever-reaching. It's like trying to capture the audience, even after the movie has been made over. So nowadays, movies aren't technically movies. It's more like a marketing plan. It's more like a project, that encompasses things before the movie till after the movie. For me personally, I believe that movies are something that should be made with grace. Grace as in, if you watch film noir, older movies, they were made with a certain precision and accuracy and, sort of acumen towards the arts. And now it's totally bereft of that. So personally, coming from different places, I feel like everybody has their own views of what a movie should be and what's a good movie. And I personally believe that a good movie is something that makes you feel good and that fulfills its purpose of delivering good art and quality content. Thank you.
Now, as we have got a general idea about the impact of films, let us understand in depth the role movies play in motivating criminal behavior.
I would say yes, definitely yes. Because films, they have the power to manipulate the mind of audience. And often they can make wrong appear as right. We have so many instances. Even I can cite the example of 1993 film Dar of Shah Rukh Khan. In this particular film, Shah Rukh Khan, or the boy, is obsessed over a girl, goes on stalking her and finally kidnapped her. So even in 2016, in a similar manner, a 20-year-old girl, employee of Stampede, she was stalked by a man and later kidnapped with the intention to marry her. And later that person confessed to the police that I was inspired by character in the film that. So not only the films motivates violent crimes, but at the same time we have examples in which films have motivated unlawful activities also. For example, you would remember Irfan Khan's Hindi movie. So in that film, that film shows with respect to the tormenting experience of the parents during the school admissions. So inspired from that particular, you can say, story, a Delhi businessman, he faked certificates with respect to economically weaker section and tried to admit his son in a reputed school. Not only this, we have examples of Munna Bhai MBBS, in which impersonation with respect to medical seats was shown, and later on we have plenty of you can say cases in which impersonation was reported. So another instance I can quote of film Hosla to Hosla, in which the plots were sold with fake documents, and likewise we have cases in Delhi where a group of individuals, they sold plots owned by some other individuals on fake documents. So I would say that yes, films have the power to manipulate the mind and they motivate crime. That is all.
Consumption of liquor and drugs has become a serious issue in contemporary times. We conducted an interview to understand whether the consumption of such substances shown in films also has an effect in aggravating this problem.
Good morning everyone. So my topic which I have been assigned today to discuss the impact of Bollywood, and what I personally believe, this is my opinion, you may have a difference of opinion also, the kind of Bollywood culture which our young generation as well as the older one is looking at is going to impact our real lives. If we see some stories, they are based upon real life, and sometimes the stories which we see, they become real after they are telecasted. If I say the narcotics part in Bollywood, when I look into, that happened long years back when Alia Bhatt started this culture of having drugs and all, and then we were like unacceptable to this thing. But later on, after a few years, it has become now a trend. Now in a party, if the narcotics is not there, that is not considered as a party. Maybe it religious, maybe it non-religious, after everything, there are always some kind of hookah, smoke, some kind of drinks and other things are involved. So how they impact our real life and social life, and they make us believe sometimes that we are not civilized, we are not meant for these parties. That kind of things actually sometimes make us consider that we are from some remote areas, and those who are taking narcotics, they are from some areas which are very, very, they are from reputed areas. So, but that is not the truth. Truth is, when you are civilized, you are away from these things, but this concept has been changed by the Bollywood. So when I think about crime scene, that also I think Bollywood has impacted us a lot. Because if we look into Drishyam, the movies like Drishyam, they have told that you can go away after committing a crime if you do it foolproof. Although primary sources are always very difficult to get, but secondary sources are always considered as hostile at one point of a time if you just pay attention to these things. Third, I think a challenge to Bollywood is when they show a social startup and they give us one kind of a opinion to keep in mind that poor people are always belong to a category who have dark complexion, or the people, those who look poor, they have a dark complexion. But in India, if we talk about, in India we have mostly South Asia, in fact, we have almost the same kind of complexion. This also has created a little kind of in our mind that the poor looks always the darker and rich are always fairer. So the Bollywood is impacting us not by saying anything directly, but by showing us certain things to our kids, to our generation, to the younger generation, to tell us how to behave and how to live a life, which is sometimes not a case we should consider.